Hi, I'm Chris
And
and we want to welcome you to Guide to Being Wrong. We would appreciate you. Please, thank you so much for subscribing. We appreciate it so much. Our numbers are going up, up, up. I'm still gotta go to work. You know, I'm trying to quit my job. I still gotta go to work. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Please don't forget to subscribe. Leave your comments. We appreciate it. And we want to thank you for following us in this experience, right? It's a journey that we are doing. We're learning. We're not professionals. We're not experts. We're just two guys talking about stuff. We sometimes agree. Most of the time we totally disagree. But yes, today's topic is going to be: is living longer better? Right? We are living longer. I don't know whether it's better or not. We freaking polluting the planet. The subways are insane. Oh my god! Trying to take the subway in rush hour. It's just impossible. So is it better?
totally better, of course.
Are you? Do you take the subway, man? You don't take the subway, do you?
No, I do. Then I actually went to the city in the subway.
During rush hour?
No.
That's, no, you gotta try rush hour.
I just went to the Met.
I'm sorry, the Met. Yeah, you're not a subway person. You're going to the Met. Anyway, yeah,
Nice
so
we had.
we are living longer, right? I mean, according to our history, our records, we are living longer for many reasons, right? But we are living longer. Um, a lot of people say that we live in longer because of medicine and but believe it or not, we mainly living longer because safety. Believe it or not, we even though we still doing a lot of the jobs that we did 100, 200 years ago, but now we have safety stuff, right?
Of
Safety.
course.
Like before, I remember like back in the days, working 16, 18 hours a day was the norm, right? It was like if you didn't, you didn't have a job, basically, right? Now, 8 hours and that's it, right? That made a big difference. Also, the safety tools that they give you, the breaks, hours, all these things, days off, all these things put in place have actually helped live longer. And plus, now with medicine,
Now nobody says it, but in the past there used to be that if you go to 30, you will go to 60. That was like a pretty much part of the normal culture.
yeah,
It's because when you turn 30 years old, nothing will kill you until you get 60.
yeah,
And the reason it was that the military, they will grab young men and
yeah,
send them to die in all these places. That was a
yeah,
huge part of the
yeah.
destruction of the age, the average
Yes,
age.
not long ago, because when we talk about our history, is not really not that long. Recorded history, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, most people die because
War.
war and work environment, and also because illness, right? So if you pass the 30-year mark, you were good. You were
Of
golden.
course, yes,
You
yes,
know.
because at 30 there is no one to send you
Yeah.
to war, and not because you did your duties or anything like that, but because a 20-year-old guy will destroy a 30-year-old guy, even now or in most part
Yeah.
of through history. And of course that was men and women. Now you cannot really say that, but in the past, I'm talking about like a couple of 100 years ago, if a guy dies, his wife will die following. It's not like there was not really like a way that a woman will survive 200 years ago on their own. The kids will die. There are huge, beautiful books that talk about, for example, this guy becomes his wife dies, right? And his mother-in-law goes to him and tell him, like they have like 4 kids. In this case, it was the woman that died, because that also worked. If the woman dies, the kid will die. There is there is no a way to hold that. It was very difficult for the kids to survive. I'm talking about most people. So the mother-in-law comes and tells them something like like you have 4 kids. I think we can save the 2 older ones, but the two younger kids, we just have to, like, one give it to this other family, the other one put in adoption, and because there was no a way that the guy will be able to keep the 4 kids, and in the other way also work. If a woman lost her husband, she was cooked. There is no way to in those times, with most the horrors of humanity was in all aspects. She will be able to survive. That's why medicine is very, very important. Totally, technology is very, very important. But it was mostly that. It was mostly you can see that in Ukraine, for example, how huge amounts of young men have died, probably in the hundreds of thousands. What you said.
So our our humans, us people, humans, um, even though we live in groups and societies, right? We do that because for many years we live in the open areas, right? And it was mainly done for protection. Animals would come in, take the kids, just grab them and pull them. Wolf would do it, bears would did it. I mean, even up to this day, they still do it. People that live in the wild are always have to be concerned with wild animals, right? And just like now, 1,000 years ago was the same thing. Um, we eat 3 meals a day, most of us, right? The average person nowadays eat 3 meals a day. Breakfast, I don't care if you're drinking coffee or a donut or a bagel, you're having a small lunch and a dinner, but you are having 3 meals, right? The average, most people, right? Um, which is now normal. Like nobody even thinks about it, right? So this is new. Not long ago, people only ate 1 meal a day. That's all they ate. One meal a day.
But this whole thing is new,
Exactly.
and but everybody.
And a lot of it have to do with if the mother or the dad die, it was impossible to take care of the kids because the role of a mother back then was to protect the kids, feed them, and do what the husband went out, either was a fighter or a hunter or work in the farms, because of course there was no cabs, there was no train operators, there was no police officers. You either work in the farm. There were very few jobs. You either work in a farm, you were in the military,
Or
or
have some real trade.
yeah, or you had a trade, and that was it. There was nothing else, Um, and so yeah, when one or the other died, the family automatically just collapsed, because most at that time, at least most of the time, at that time there was no such thing as money. It was trade. You had to give something to get something in exchange. You know. Now, when we're talking about living better, living longer is better. Now, when we look at back how we used to be to what we are now. Um, we are in New York City. We are in New York City. We eat 3 meals a day. I eat 3 meals a day, sometimes four.
More than I should.
Yeah, hey, listen, I get dessert too. Okay, what can I tell you? Okay, I get to see a doctor whenever I want to. I can just make an appointment and go and see a doctor. I have the luxury to call my job and say, hey, I'm not coming today. I'm feeling sick, you know?
But when he's sick, though, he never would do that.
No,
No.
never abuse the system, you know? So that's me, right? That's me. That's a percentage of the population. But I tell you this, there's billions, not millions, billions of people that only eat once a day. They're working 12, 14 hours a day, shifts, 7 days a week. That don't have the luxury to get sick because if you don't work, you don't eat. They don't even have running water or plumbing,
Mm-hmm.
you know? That would most likely have to work until the day they die. Is living longer better for them,
Totally, yes, of course. For everybody.
for everybody?
For everybody. You don't think so? When you think,
I mean, you're the guy that just went in the fucking Met and don't take the subway. I mean, really?
yeah, and
If you were somebody right now that couldn't even have a relationship, couldn't even have kids because you cannot afford them,
mm-hmm,
that you on your own working just to eat,
mm-hmm,
where you don't have a retirement plan or social security, you don't have medical plan or nothing,
mm-hmm,
where you're working a job that you have to that they tell you, hey, you gotta move faster, man, because otherwise I gotta get somebody else.
mm-hmm,
And you getting older
mm-hmm.
and sicker and tired, but yet you still gotta perform the same way that a 20-year-old kid does, because otherwise all they look at you is like, hey, thanks, man, but don't come tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You think that person wants to live longer?
Probably yes. What I've seen is that actually is the contrary. When people are struggling,
Yeah.
when people are if you go, for example, to the poor neighborhoods in Brazil,
Yeah.
right? Those people are hunger for life,
Yeah. It's called survival, man.
right? And when you go to the other side, when you go to a rich neighborhood in Jersey,
Yeah.
right?
In Jersey? New Jersey?
In New Jersey, right?
Okay.
Right? And they have huge, very, very beautiful neighborhoods there.
They do.
I mean, they do, right? It's Jersey, but they do.
Nobody wants to be in New Jersey, man.
But those people do for some reason. Nobody wants to be in Jersey, that's true. But everybody's crazy, and they do. And you talk with them, right?
Yeah.
They actually huge levels of depression. I know what you're saying, right? If you have a comfortable life, you want to live more of those years. When you have a struggling life, you don't want you want your life to be short. But if you see like even though that's what it should be, when you go and talk with people, when you see actually what is happening, is exactly the contrary.
So nobody. There's one thing about
Poor
humans.
people are more live and happy for some reason. Go and see the depression levels.
Look.
Where do you think are more depression levels? In Peru or in Manhattan?
Well, I don't know, but I want to tell you.
Definitely in Manhattan.
I want to tell you this. I want to tell you this. Most, I say most, because the large amount of people, nobody wants to die.
Nobody wants to die.
Mainly for fear.
There are, of course, people that they're suffering from some chemical.
I think most people don't want to die because of fear.
Most people, yes.
If we knew what really happens after you die, I don't think dying would be a problem if we knew. But nobody knows. And humans are very good at fear. They fear because of the unknown. You know? If you go to if this is your house and all the lights are out, this is the power goes off and the lights are out, you have no problem walking in because you know the house, you know what's in there, you know what's the kitchen, you know what's everything. But if I've never been to this house and all the lights are out, I'm gonna feel like I'm not going in there. I don't even know that he's in there. You know? And even if I decided to go in, I'm not gonna walk in. I'm gonna be like slowly looking, hearing, like don't take like 2 steps forward. I'll be like, I don't even know if there's a hole as soon as I step in. You know what I mean? Because it's a fear of the unknown.
Yes, there is a lot.
So because really nobody really knows what happens when you die. We know what happens to your body physically because we can see it, but nobody really knows what happens to your mind, what happens to your let's call it a spirit. Nobody really knows what happens to you. And because of that, nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to die. You know. Now, if you tell me that once you die, you go to Cancun and you're in the beach all day long, people be.
If you were good, if you were bad, just. Yeah, I'm talking.
Not James. I'm in Connecticut. Listen, the truth of the matter is, I think most people are like that because of the fear of the fear of the unknown, the fear of the unknown.
There is a lot of that.
No,
but also, life is beautiful.
Life is gorgeous. Life is beautiful.
Life is beautiful.
Listen, even on a bad day, it could always be worse. That's what I always say. On a bad day, man, it could always be worse. You have no idea. It could always be worse. It could always be worse. You know, it could always be worse. Look, I want to tell you this. Just one thing that changed in the last 40 years, 50 years drastically, right? One of the things that changed drastically, that had an impact in the nuclear family, right, is that women went to work, right? And grandparents stay on their own. And grandparents are living longer, right? So you say that's a good thing, and it is. It is a great thing. But it created something that we were not, nobody was ready for, right? Number one, by you living longer, everybody, because people always live until the 80s, into the 90s. I mean, it's not like it's new. It happened before.
But exception.
Yes, not to the scale that we have now. One thing that happened is, and this is, I don't know why the number is 75, but it's between 70, 75, 80. Your medical conditions drastically start failing to a point that you're not like dependent again. It's very difficult to find, and they are there, I understand, but it's very difficult to find somebody in the 80s, 75, 85 that is self-dependent.
Of course. They start using diapers. Yeah. They need to be walked.
They need to be walked. They need to be make sure they remember things and taken to places.
Alzheimer's.
Yeah, they can't go up and down stairs. All these things, right? Yeah. And of course, this is before it wasn't a problem because at that time they were part of the family, right? They stayed with their son, their daughters. They kept them with them. But the moment that the women started working, and not saying there's nothing wrong with it.
Of course, we're just saying what happened.
What happened, exactly. When women started working, a lot of things happened right off the bat, right? The family, as we knew for hundreds of years, started breaking, right? Women with time becoming self-dependent. Because they are their own now. They couldn't take care of their parents. They migrated to different cities because they were now looking for jobs, right? They started renting instead of owning. Like before, that was one of the biggest things before, that people live in their own home, right? So they didn't have to worry about paying rent. They didn't have to, it was their house, it was their property, it was their land. But because of migrating, moving around, and all these things, you went to a new city where you didn't own nothing, so you had to rent. Rent means that you have to keep working. Rent means that you cannot stop working. Rent means that you have a specific area assigned to you, and which means that you cannot bring anybody that you want. Maybe now you live in a one bedroom apartment. Where are you going to put your parents, right? So all these things started building up a new society that even though we were paving the way, we never really got ready for it. So that made it think that is this living longer actually beneficiary? People have to start working longer. People were retiring before in the 50s, 55, they were already retiring. Like nobody ever heard of somebody working in the 60 years old. Like, why you got your dad working so old? Now people working into their 70s, 75, there's still people working, you know? So because all these changes happening into our society that we were not really ready or expected, right? Has made it to really rethink this. Now, scientifically, um, scientifically, they say that we're supposed to live into 125, 150 years. Our bodies can take it. Right now, it's impossible. Right now, it's impossible. Nobody.
I think the oldest person got to 122.
122.
This French lady,
Yeah, 122.
right? I don't remember her name. But there are like three views in that. One, of course, is that we are said to die, 100, 110. The other one is that we could extend it with technology, with all these treatments, with better healthcare and all of that, to 160, 170. And there is a third one that says that we will be that there is actually a timer on our DNA that tells when we are supposed to last, and that could be actually turned off to open into a new door that nobody really knows, like like if you see you now and who you were 8 years ago, right? It's all new cells, all new everything. You're like a new human. I think every 4 or 5 years you are a completely new human. Talking about what makes you what materials makes you, right?
So just to bring it back a little bit, again, because there's a thing that we keep forgetting. At least not we keep forgetting, but there's just always something that I always say this. Okay, I always say this. This is some crazy, evil bullshit that some fucking scientists are trying to do. Because I'll tell you this: there's 8 billion, 7 billion people in this planet. This is only supposed to be for a handful of people that they want to keep, that they want to do this. Right now, nobody wants to pay taxes for 100 freaking years to the freaking government that keeps taking your money and who knows what they're doing with it. I know I don't want to pay taxes. I want to pay taxes now. What makes you think that I want to pay taxes for 90 years straight? But this is the reality. If we live normal life, right? Normal life. The way life was meant to be. Because there's this thing about normal, meaning you just go through life. And then there's this thing about, hey, I don't like this, so change it. The moment that you start doing that, you're not a human anymore. You're not a human. And yes, there's research about changing DNA. There's research about replacing your whole body. I was watching a show the other day where they told me, this is insane technology, and I mean, it's being developed. It's being developed right now. I mean, they're not even. This is insane because it's being developed. I mean, they're not even talking about it. They're talking about they're working on it. Where technology is going to come to a point that they say that they could keep your brain alive. So what the future is going to be, your body is going to be a robot, but your brain is going to be human. You know? You ever heard of that?
Yes, totally. Yes.
You think?
As you said, they are working a huge part on that.
Yeah, yeah.
They say that the iPhone is the first step. No, a master plan to make everybody in a cyber or anything like that. I'm just saying the iPhone is actually, some people consider the iPhone to be an extension of a person now. Or not the iPhone, any phone, right? The smartphones
Smartphone.
are an extension of a person.
Would you consider that a human?
Whom?
Somebody that the brain is human, but the whole body is a machine.
I mean, definitely less
Would
if a human is just an animal, right?
Yes.
These human with, as you said, with just a brain and then everything is cyber. Definitely is less an animal than a normal animal.
So would that be a human?
That is a very difficult question.
I would. I don't think it's a human.
No, as I said, if you talk about,
look.
if you say we have chimpanzees, we have rabbits, we have humans,
Look.
right? Definitely, this new human, it will be less an animal.
Well, you call it a human already.
No, I'm saying this other human that you're saying, right? Right now we have like a human, right?
Yeah.
But so when even right now, you take a human, and he has a prosthetic, or he has less surgery, or he has a one of those hip replacements.
Yeah.
Not that value of that person has been diminished at all, right? But if you talk about like this is the original product, this is the original product, a human, and now you have this other one here that has you have seen the chips in the brain, has a chip in the brain. That is less in the category of a natural
So
human.
look, let me tell you something. We both the same. We're both the same. We have one heart, two lungs, a kidney. We're both the same, right? We're both the same, but we're different. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows that you may see, if they ask you what color is that, you say green, and I say shit looks like fucking blue. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows why you watch the Titanic and you cry like you'll be crying. I was about to say like a little bitch. I don't want to say it, but yeah, you'll be crying like a little bitch, and I'd be like, oh my god, when is this shit gonna end? You know what I mean? Nobody knows why. Nobody knows why you walk by and you see somebody pass out on the floor and you go down on your knees and pick them up and help them out, and somebody else will just keep walking straight. That's what makes us human. That's what makes us unique. That's what makes us who we are.
The glasses that you are using?
But
will that make you less a natural product?
See, nobody knows why that happens. But what we know is this. If somebody takes your arm, you're still who you are. If somebody takes your legs, you're gonna be pissed off. But you're still who you are.
Not really, though. No.
You see things a little bit different. But if you were a dick, you're still gonna be a dick. If you were somebody nice, you're still gonna be somebody nice.
Yes,
so nobody knows why. If it's in your brain, is this in your heart? Is this in your freaking lungs? Nobody knows. Something in your body, something inside of you makes who you are different from everybody else. Nobody knows. So my question to you is this. What if what makes us different is in your blood?
Can be taken away from with these things. Who knows?
Then you're not a human anymore. Because my thing is this.
I would say that most people agree that we are the brain.
The brain.
Yes, most people agree.
I think so too.
I would say most people I say that, as you said, if you lose your arm, you are still who you are. You will feel that the vehicle where you go through life has been damaged, right? Right?
Yeah.
But you at the end are the brain. As I said, you have glasses, right? I don't think you never have thought, I'm blessed, the original product now.
Yeah, because well, I also believe I don't believe in the heart. I believe in the brain. The brain is actually everything in your body. Your brain tells you everything. You know.
But
But
if you have, as you said, your brain put up into a cyber, right, into a robot, and the idea that that is no a completely different being. I don't want to say less as a human because I'm saying a different being, a different human than a normal human.
I would not even consider a human, to be honest with you.
You can even call it something else.
Yeah,
You can say,
it would be something
like
else.
now these are a cyber. It's not so now maybe it's a human cyber or something like that, right? But it's his own persona, it's his own entity than somebody that until what point I don't know. What if somebody loses the legs, the arms, and then all of that is put just in robotics?
I mean, this is something that, of course, we're not going to see it. I mean, I hope I don't
Yeah,
get to see
no,
it.
we will not see it. There is 1,000 years from now.
I mean, it is going to. I think it is going to happen.
It is going to happen.
It is going to happen. Right now, right now, 2000, we're in 2026. Right now is the fact that the population is large and is aging. There's a big gap now. The gap is growing big between the ages. Like the generations are very. Our biggest population right now is the older, right? And one of the things about older people is that they're great. Of course, nobody really wants to say, "I want my grandparents to die because they're suffering, because they know they cannot function anymore." Nobody wants to say it out loud. Let me put it that way. Nobody wants to say it out loud. You know, some people say that's very selfish when you see somebody laying in a bed without being able to talk, move, do nothing, but because you don't want him to die, you have that person suffering because they are suffering. In a way, they are suffering, right? So, are we better off now? Are we better off now knowing that for the next 10, 20 years, soon, that's going to be our biggest population living in these conditions? You know, are we ready to work into your 75, and that will be the norm? Are we ready for that? You know what I mean? So because that's what's coming. That's what's coming. That's what's coming because we're living longer. Living longer means that you're going to work longer. Living longer means that you're going to hopefully have people. That's why now the healthcare system is the booming job market in the world. Not because people getting sicker, no. It's because they need people to take care of the elderly. That's why the healthcare system is growing everywhere in the world because people are living longer. Nursing homes are the biggest business growing. Somebody got to take care of this group of people that technically once they reach 80, 85, and some of them are living into the 90s plus comfortably because now they have someone to take care of them. And again, just like anywhere else, when you got somebody, when we talk about, back in the days, if the dad or the husband, the mom, the dad, the man, the woman died, the family will collapse because you needed two people to sustain the household. You know, otherwise you're going to have somebody to take care of it. The same thing was happening with the new generations, with the elderly. A lot of old people were left by themselves because the new generation that was coming in started working, moving, moving to different towns, different cities, couldn't take care of them, left them alone, and they were dying, right? Now, because they are building this new system where somebody can watch them, they're living longer. So, in our system that we have, in our society, could that be sustained? Can we afford that? Can we actually pay into having people living into their hundreds? Because the The goal right now for scientists and science and doctors is for people to live a normal life, what they call it a normal life until the hundreds, right? Which just a few years ago, the average age to die was 60. Not long ago. And when I say not long ago, when I talk about 100 years ago, 100 years ago is not long ago when you think about it, right? That's only two generations. So you went from 60 to 100? That's 40 years. A lot of things have to change.
And it's not the productive years, let's call them like
Exactly,
that.
exactly. They're not productive years. Exactly. So this is in the system where we live. So meaning somebody got to pay for this. You know, that's the main. So societies might soon come up with a new tax. Hey, we gotta tax you for you. So when you get old, like the old tax, you know. So when you get old, your money is there for your retirement home. You know what I mean? I mean, something had to happen. Something had to happen because it is going to be.
As a group, who knows if we become a country, kind of like Japan, where the number of old people is a huge percentage.
It's a huge percentage. And mainly women. Women live longer than men. Women are living longer than men. Which is nothing wrong. It's always been like that, right? As far as I know, in the whole history, women have always.
I think some genetic thing.
Yeah, probably, yeah. But I mean, I don't know why, but women always live longer than men. Always, it's always been like that. So we are in a very weird time because somebody got to make a decision because we live in a society where everything is money. Somebody got to pay for it. Plain and simple, right? Somebody got to pay for it.
You think at the end, just the youth is going to be a slave into
Yeah,
the old people?
And when I say somebody got to pay for it, the reason why I'm saying this in the way I'm saying it is because that's the only way that everybody will get the help that they need. Because there's people that can afford it right now. There's people that will be able to afford it, right? To have somebody that take care of them, be in a nursing home or be at home. But I'm talking about the people that don't have that. That they also deserve as a human the same care that any individual will get. You know, and that's the ones that I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that when they get 80, they got nobody and they had a job that couldn't save enough money. Who's going to take care of them? We shouldn't just say, "Oh no, sorry."
I don't think nobody wants to because something that all people do is both. They do both, you know.
Oh, yeah.
There's like you want to see.
Well, yeah, we got bingo, we got this. Oh yeah,
Bowling. No, they do
I
both.
mean, we're making fun of it, but they schedule these things for them.
Okay.
You know, if you go to a nursing home, you know, they got, you know, today is physical therapy. You know, we got movie day, bingo day. You know, election day. You know?
So they do both. No, that they shouldn't. But as a voting bloc, they are very powerful.
So we're talking about places like here, right? Where this structure, we're not as corrupted in other places, and then we have this thing about care, right? We do care. I'm talking about other places where nobody cares. Governments are corrupted. They care for, you know, many countries. Like for instance, I was talking about Peru. Peru has a law that once you pass 60, you don't have to vote. You know, so all people don't vote. So what's the vote for? And they're saying like we don't want them to stand in line for too long.
You think it's intentional?
Of course it is. Of course it is, man. Of course it is. But you know, talking about those places, right?
In Cuba, once you turn, I think 63, you are free to leave the country if you want to. So everybody turns 63.
Just leave.
It just goes back
because
go to Miami, no back.
That just shows you what the problem is, right? Who's going to take care of you now? You gotta go find somebody else to take care of you. We're not taking care of you, you know. Which is a sad thing that the government is telling you find somebody to take care of you, you know. But that is a reality. That is a reality, and that is a big problem of living longer. You know, we talk about, oh yeah, we want to live longer. A lot of people don't really understand all the issues that come with that. in our society as a
But
whole.
not that we oppose any of this, right?
No, of course
But
not. Of course
the
not.
consequences, nobody really knows.
No, of course not.
Nobody wants to check.
I think even longer is a great thing because it shows how far we have come, right? But one of the problems that we didn't expect it that will happen in such a short time, and a lot of governments, a lot of places that don't have nothing in place for that, and they're still not working on it. Where it's sad because there should be things in place right now for the generation that are living longer that need that take care of. Like New York City, I told you they have they take care of you. They send somebody to your house to cook for you, clean for you. I mean, it's amazing. New York City has a lot of resources, but most places don't. Most places you're 85. I seen videos in countries where people are 85 and they still gotta go. They can barely walk and they still gotta cook because otherwise they don't eat. And
I see what you're saying, but I have this friend, Alex. He turned 73 like a couple of years ago, and he had a horrible life in New York. He was married, right? But they were poor,
yeah,
so they basically ended up going to like housing, and once he could not work anymore, and so he could not pay rent, of course, and then they gave him some kind of housing, but they separated. They separated this old couple,
yeah,
and he pretty much have like a little room in this house that was mostly people going to rehab,
okay.
and
But what does that have to do with getting home?
he's like, well, you said that all these people have all these benefits in New York. Some people do. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that. There is also a huge amount of old people in New York that have horrible lives.
Yes, they do. No,
You will see his life, right? He, as I said, he lost his job, ended up in housing, in this house pretty much of drug addicts.
yeah.
He, I saw him like 4 or 5 months after he moved there.
Okay.
He had one of his eyes.
Let me ask you something. Is he working?
No, he was
Okay,
not
he's not
working.
working. Where does he live? He lives in
in Long Island. They moved him to Long Island.
They moved to Long Island. Okay.
With no transportation, no nothing.
Okay.
In this house in the middle of nowhere.
Okay. So, but he doesn't have to pay his medicine bills. He doesn't have to. He has free medicine.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to pay for rent. He have housing. He probably has some sort of food voucher or somebody cooks for him.
Yes. No. Cook.
But he has food vouchers.
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you think somebody? Let's say Bolivia, because you mentioned Bolivia before. Do you think somebody in the same position that he is?
No, in Bolivia they will die.
Okay, there you go, man. So they still better.
No.
I'm not saying that it's. That's what I'm saying. It is a system that needs a lot of help.
Mm-hmm.
It needs a lot of things to work
No,
on.
in Bolivia,
But like I said, we are in New York, and we do have things in place. They're not the best, but we got something. Most of the world, if you're 80 and you're by yourself,
you die.
You die. You're living horribly. You're living horribly. That's the truth. So is living longer better for them? I don't see how.
A nun of me was a nun, and she worked in a I wouldn't call it a retirement house, but like a nursing home for old people. And of course, this is a church thing.
Yeah.
And these nuns, these priests, they will work so hard to try to give them some kind of life, right? But with nothing, they have nothing, like that. Sometimes people will bring like a basket of apples and things like that, so they have to like cut in little pieces and trying to, What I'm saying is, you see their suffering, it's just to this new level,
So we are in a very in a very weird spot, right? Because we have family members that get old. We want the best for them when they're with us. We all gonna die. It doesn't matter if it's 100 years, 200, we are going to die. We're not meant to live forever, right? We are going to die. But we want to make sure that while we're here, we got dignity. We get treated like anybody else. We get the same
And
rights,
that's a lot.
and that's a lot to us. Yeah. So, but it's a system that, listen, I pay taxes. Damn it, I pay a lot of money in taxes. People don't. If people actually started seeing how much money places like New York collect on taxes every freaking month, not even a year, every month. Man, I should be eating a steak and lobster every freaking day, waiting for me at my door.
With John Ramsey.
So yes, that's right. He be cooking for me every freaking. But the situation with living better, living longer is a situation that it's here. It's already here. That's it. It's already here, and a lot of people are not putting too much attention to it. It needs to be worked out. Things will have to change, and it's better to tell people now. And guess what? The retiring age is not. Well, the retiring age right now is 65, 67 if you want to. Most people are working until they're 75. Some people are working
Yeah.
until they're 75. Okay?
And you ask them, and they actually say, "I cannot afford
I
to
cannot afford to
retire."
retire.
What?
They cannot afford to retire.
They cannot afford to
So
retire.
it's just better to put it, hey, 75, 70 years to retire, 75 years to retire. So to make people don't ask that question, why are you still working? Because honestly, if you're going to live until 90 and you retire at 65, what's that, 25 years, right? 25 years, somebody's paying for you. That's how they're looking at it. That's how they're looking at it. And we got to pay you for 25 years for doing nothing. For all your services that you did for what, 40, 50 years? That's why I do think that there should be like a new tax. I'm not into a tax people, but we need to protect the people that are living longer, and to make sure that they have the money for them to get. I'm going to get older. I mean,
And
hopefully.
that's what Social Security is supposed to be.
Yeah, but
But they keep taking the
they
money.
keep taking the money for Social
What about
Security.
not taking the money?
Yeah.
Just leave it there.
Leave it there.
You do not need it.
Social Security, and that we could talk about that another day. But yeah, it's just, oh my God, security. What they have what they have done with Social Security, and nobody goes to jail. Nobody goes to jail. But what they do with Social Security is insane. But yeah, listen, we live longer. That's a great thing. It's a beautiful thing. Living is great, right? Living is great. We love living. But it comes to a point that decisions got to be made, because the dignity of everybody should be respected, right? Everybody should be treated as a human and have the same benefits and the same rights, and should be treated with kind, right? Even more when you get to an age where you depend on others, right? Just like a baby, that we take care of them so much because that is the future, right? When you get to that age, we should take care of you because what you did for us, right? That it works both ways. That's how it should be, right? So hopefully they do things, and the next generation can appreciate it. And yeah, it's a problem that is already here. It's already here. We gotta take care of it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we have to honor them.
Yeah. So just be ready, right? We're living longer, and that's it's not going to stop. We're not going to live less. We're going to keep living longer. So prepare for yourself for it. You gotta prepare yourself for it. That's the bottom line. You gotta prepare yourself for it. Thanks so much for listening to Chris and please subscribe. Leave your comments.
And like us, please.
And again, just remember that we're not experts. We're not. We just give you a point of view, and hopefully you disagree with us.
And let us
Yes,
hear.
we don't want you to agree with us. We want you to disagree with us.
No, agree.
Well, agree with me because I'm right. Don't agree with this guy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.